I'm thrilled to be with ACDA Minnesota. I've had such respect for this organization with my time as an educator in Minnesota. They do tremendous work. I've been connected with them as an exhibitor and through some of their conferences, and know a lot of their members. So it's thrilling to be within working with an organization that is really looking towards the future of music education and what choral singing and choral music means to the state of Minnesota, which obviously in the land of 10,000 choirs is an important tradition and an important thing to think about. So yeah, very thrilled to be here with ACDA Minnesota. Early career experiences that are notable, I think, have been working with, sixth graders as my first job out of school. It was a way of teaching and engaging that I had not really anticipated. When I was an undergraduate, I thought, boy, I'll just be this high school band director, and I really never thought about working with younger students. And then having that time to really see and to nurture that talent at that young age, and you just see that internal intrinsic motivation. It's just so inspiring to work with. I think other experiences have been working with, on the other end, working with older adults that have been really profound. Starting programming within the creative aging movement, so working with older adults on actual, real legitimate art making that has skill building and along with social connection, has been really really profound in how I see the value and the purpose of arts education. Hearing from folks that had not been singing in a choir in maybe 20 or 30 or 40 years, and they thought, boy, this is my time. I need to go back and do this. It showed me that excitement and interest and desire to make music that I saw in those sixth graders way back when actually continues throughout one's life. And just because you're 60, 70, 80 years old, it doesn't mean that you don't lose that passion for music making and the social connection that comes with singing in a choir or just making music. And it really, I think, for me, it has been really transformative in terms of what is the real purpose, what's our value, what's the impact that we are trying to achieve in the work around music education. I think ACDA is at this really exciting moment in their existence, and as they're thinking about what is the future of music education, what's the future of choral education. I think being able to work with this organization to really achieve their goals is what has really have been very exciting for me about learning about this role with the executive director of ACDA, and then where I think the future lies. In terms of equity, diversity, and inclusion concepts, and really finding out and understanding how do you make choral education and choral settings and singing equitable in the future, and what is it in terms of repertoire and events and programming? What do the events look like? Are we things that went from 100% in person to 100% virtual? I'm assuming there'll be some hybrid events down the road, and what does that mean in terms of accessibility and reaching people throughout the state and maybe even beyond, and thinking about the honor choirs and things like that could really reach a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. In this day and age means having a presence in social media. It has a presence within communities in all sorts of different ways. It's generating opportunities to sing and to perform. And I think it's with any activity that you want to find people that are interested and motivated, and maybe find people that want to learn something new and maybe have had that interest in singing but need to be rekindled, or maybe want to try and learn something brand new and try a new skill and try to and understand that actually singing in a choir is fun in the sense of you have the social cohesion, the connection, and for people to understand that sort of the value of participation in that realm, I think is very exciting for a lot of folks. Advice I would offer for young students and people interested who may be looking at a career in music, education, or performance or business, I think is to find people who are doing the work that you think you want to do. Can you find mentors? Can you find people who are doing the jobs and that you want to end up doing? And you contact them, reach out to them, learn about their careers, and find out how they arrived at that path. And what does their day look like? How many skills do they need? Is it sitting in the practice room all day and then going playing performances, or is it actually practicing, playing performances, and a lot of networking and running a business and all the other things that may be needed? And I also say to young students in particular, that I would say to students who are looking at education, that there are a lot of different ways of being a music educator that's beyond working in a K-12 setting or a university setting or a private studio setting. There's a whole movement of teaching artistry that's out there that are the artists who are trained as artists, who are using their artistry to inform their teaching practice and are engaging with people in all sorts of settings beyond just the classroom, and in not just teaching skills, but trying to teach what is it that an artist thinks, what is that process, and that can be transposed in so many different ways, from working in a library, working with older adults, working with young students, working in the community center, and on and on. There's so many avenues. So jumping in with both feet is a great way to approach your future music career. ACDA is really looking towards the future and where's choral education and choral singing in this state, and how will it evolve? In terms, and I think they're looking correctly in the area of the changing demographics, as we're seeing the different students who are working their way through K through 12 schools and into university systems. It is the populations are just changing. We have shifting of populations in the sense of where they're at, where people are located throughout the state, will have an impact on choral singing, and even on age. I mean, in Minnesota, there are 10,000 people turning 65 every day, and so we have this aging population that's living longer and staying more active. And how do we serve those folks? And where does ACDA have a place in all that? And where does it have? Where can it offer support for the choir directors, the choral directors who are working with these different folks in different settings? And I think their thinking, and the thinking is to start building the infrastructure, building the support networks and the education to better serve those populations as we figure out, as we determine where those places are. In this knock on wood, post-COVID world that we're moving into, I think it's been a chance for people to reassess what music education looks like, and in terms of ACDA, what does choral education in a choral setting look like? And I think it's looking at educators want to look. Educators need to be aware of who's coming into their classrooms, and what does it mean to be a participant. And I think with the disruption of being education just happening in a physical setting, what does it mean to participate in a virtual way, or in a hybrid way? And what is really important from the connection in a choral setting, and to really identify, to keep that motivation, keep that energy going. I think diversity, equity, and inclusion is another critical area. as I mentioned before, the changing demographics of the state, of the country, will continue. Just there are the cultural traditions, the shift in age, the lifespan of people living. I think I heard a stat that the students that just graduated second grade this last school year, half of them are expected to live to be 100 years old. What does lifelong learning really mean? And what does education, even at the very beginning at kindergarten, mean, especially music education, all the way through K-12, through the university times and beyond? I think it's vital to think about the skills that we teach and the purpose of choral singing, that the group together, and how that can actually transcend past your childhood days through your adult days and through older times, your older life, because the singing has such a lifelong impact, and it really can. There's such value in what you're able to do. Well, thank you for this time and the opportunity to share about my passion for music and education and ACDA, and I'm very thrilled and excited for this opportunity. I think there's a lot of excitement for the future of ACDA and where choral singing can be in the state. So I of course thank my mentors, Bruce Becker especially. He's been a tremendous educator and professor, as I've said to him multiple times already, being able to fill his shoes from a position that he in essence created and really built up. It's really quite remarkable. And also thank you to my prior mentors in the past, from Nobu Yasuda, the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire orchestra director, Bob Baca, the jazz professor at Eau Claire, and Ron Kieser, the percussion professor, who was really instrumental in encouraging me to go to Eau Claire. So, and I would also add Paula Justice from St. Mary's. When I worked on my master's degree in arts administration, she was really a tremendous asset to help me see the potential for arts administration and how arts and arts organizations and education all can blend together, and learning that ecosystem working together can really have an impact in a much different way than I had ever thought before.